Okay, so in this video, I want to be talking about why online dating and even speed dating is more difficult for men and women that are looking for serious relationships, long term relationships, something a little bit more meaningful, and even possibly to settle down or find a soulmate. Why is it difficult for both men and women to find that on online dating sites and speed dating events? Now, I'm not saying it's impossible or that you'll never succeed at it. I'm just explaining where the difficulty comes from, why it exists, and my theory behind that. And this evolved because I had that question in my head when I was using online dating sites. And I started to notice a pattern where a lot of women were telling me that every man they met wanted hookups and one night stands and were not necessarily honest. And none of the guys that I knew personally were like that. So a part of me felt that they were just making this up. It was just their way of blaming men for their inability to establish a relationship. The whole victim thing. And there are people like that, that women like that have the victim mentality. They just blame everybody for their inability to make a man happy. But so why is it difficult for both men and women? And well, my theory is essentially because this also explains why there's more men on these dating sites than there are women, and also at speed dating events why men tend to fill those up too very quickly. This also includes singles parties, anywhere where there is at least the illusion of there being lots of women. Okay, so the theory that I have, which is somewhat backed up with science, is that men have a biological impetus to spread their seeds. Okay, and so it makes logical sense that if you're wanting to spread your seed, you want to go where there is the most amount of women and where you have the potential to get a majority of them pregnant. So a lot of the blame I'm placing on the men for this issue. So essentially, men will go, at least these type of men will go to where there are the most women and where it is potentially easiest to get them pregnant. Now, they're not consciously thinking about getting women pregnant. On a more mental level, they're thinking they have a fantasy of having sex with multiple women in one shot. So to these men, that's desirable. All right, so there's a lot of men that have this fantasy of having sex with lots and lots of women, and it isn't necessarily quality, but more quantity is the concern here. So what happens is, of course, that these dating sites will be full of these men, these types of men, and that also includes speed dating events, singles parties. And because these men are looking for hookups, they're not looking for anything serious, they're not as picky, okay? And because they're not as picky, they'll talk to a wide range of women, even women that are not on their level of attractiveness, okay? And they will be very easy to talk to. They're not going to be very argumentative because they have a simple, singular goal. And that is just to get into a woman's pants. It isn't to establish a relationship. It isn't to make any connections. It's just that. And unfortunately, they're not very honest. Okay. So this makes it difficult for women who are looking for something serious to find that on the dating sites. And it makes it difficult for men who are looking for something serious to stand out from the crowd of other men on there. And I have this saying that the more beautiful a woman is, the harder it is for a man to be honest. Okay, so it's the most attractive women that deal with the highest level of dishonesty and games on these dating sites, which is why a majority of the most beautiful women avoid online dating. Okay. You'll also encounter the same thing at speed dating events, by the way. Yes, it's usually an equal ratio of 50-50 at speed dating events, But a majority of the men there are probably looking for hookups and one night stands too. And there's only a few men there that are probably looking for something serious in a relationship. And this is kind of shown by the way that the men behave and et cetera, et cetera. So, as a man who's looking for something serious, you have to work hard to show that you're not these other guys that are looking for hookups and looking for one night stands. And, there are some women who get on there for that too. So it's not just men. And you have to look out for that too as a man. And as a woman, you have to not give in to the idea that this is the way all men are, because the temptation is that when you do online dating, you're gonna encounter so many men doing this, and some of these men are also married in relationships, because the temptation, the drive to reproduce, to have this fantasy fulfilled of having sex with lots of women is so strong for some men that they will do this even though they're married or in relationships, or they have something holding them back, like maybe they don't even live in the same country, or they're not even able to date. They just get on there because they have that fantasy is that strong. So as a woman, if you encounter men that are constantly looking for hookups and one night stands, just understand that doesn't represent all men, and just don't fall into the idea that this is the way men are. Yes, I did mention that it is a biological impetus for men to reproduce with as many women as possible. However, most men who are serious, are very content with just being with one woman. Okay, so there are a lot of serious men out there. I'm just explaining why there are those men that are looking for hookups and one night stands, that there's a biological reason for that. Not saying that they don't hold any responsibility for their decisions. As a matter of fact, they're free to do what they want. There's nothing wrong with, people can choose how they want to live their life. Okay, so if they want to have hookups and one night stands, that's up to them. And the same thing for women. But I'm just explaining why there are more of those type of men on there than there are men looking for something serious. So as a woman, you got to look extra hard and also be a little bit more aggressive, because you can't just sit back and wait for the men to come to you. Okay, in this situation, all right, you have to be a little bit more aggressive. Go out there and look on the online dating site and try to find those guys that seem serious. Read their profiles. Look at their pictures and just look for the serious ones. Stop looking for the ones that look attractive, look hot, because the hot men will get on there. The hottest men will get on there, and as I stated, because their goal is predominantly to impregnate as many women as possible and just have sex, their standards can be very low. All right, so you think you got a guy who's hot, who's got everything you want, all right, but he's not looking for something serious. All right. And he's highly agreeable because he's not looking for a long-term connection. So he'll agree with everything you say as a woman. So both men and women who are serious just need to keep this in mind when they do online dating, when they do speed dating, okay, that, these, wherever there is the illusion of lots of women, and I say it's an illusion because not every single woman does online dating, and not every single woman does speed dating or go to singles parties. Not everybody meets at these places. They meet in school, they meet in church, they meet in other places. That's why I say that's the illusion of there being an abundance of women. Because as I stated, some of the most attractive, even average looking women avoid online dating because of the reason that there's just too many men looking for hookups and one night stands. And that is... So some of the most serious women you're not going to find online. If you're looking for a wife, if you're looking for a girlfriend, if you're looking for something long-term and meaningful, they're going to be offline, okay? So that concludes my theory why online dating and speed dating and singles parties are much more difficult for people looking for a serious relationship. Now, I would just want to say that speed dating is better than online dating. It isn't very different, but it is much better. You get to see people in person. People are more attractive, because a lot of people who are attractive will show up. They're going to make sure they look good and everything. So speed dating is a lot better than online dating from my experience, just in case you wanted to know. And it is legit. If it's a legit company, you'll definitely meet attractive and good quality people at speed dating events. Just don't expect for there to always be a connection or to find, your soulmate or any of this stuff. Because again, a lot of the men and women who go to these speed dating events are looking for purely sex, hookups, one-night stands. So they're not looking for mental or emotional connection. They're just looking for the most attractive person in the room. Okay? That's what happens when you end up with people that just want to have fun, and that's their priority. Okay? Either that or money. So, just don't fall into the trap. If you're a man or a woman, just don't fall into the trap of thinking that the online dating sites and speed dating events and singles parties or whatever other venue you go to is a representation of, whatever gender you're going after. Okay, so if you're a man looking for women, don't allow the scarcity of women on these dating sites to define your outlook on love and dating. And if you're a woman, don't let these creeps that are looking for hookups and one night stands define what all men are wanting or looking for. Okay. And just continue believing there are men that are looking for something serious, and also be realistic. Okay, I mean, the hot guy, the guy who's like really attractive, what's the odds of him actually being serious with you? You know what I mean? If you're not as attractive as him, if it's, the old saying is, if it's too good to be true, it's probably not true. Okay, and a lot of women need to stay grounded when you do online dating. There's a lot of guys on there, so women tend to fall into the trap of thinking they have way more options than they really do. Okay, and men tend to fall into the trap of thinking they don't have any options, and they get a little desperate on the dating sites. And you do have options. You are a good catch. It's just that maybe it's not working for you in particular, and you can try looking elsewhere for your wife, your girlfriend, and find that. Thank you for watching. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think, and take care.